Every once in a while, something special comes along that changes the way that we live our lives. In this case, it's the electric car. Now, this has been done before in the past with the EV1. It was a wildly popular car that was sold in the 1990s until General Motors took back each and every single car that they've ever sold to their customers forcefully. But now the electric car is back, and I'm sure you know, it's the Tesla. Watch. I just made a Tesla appear like magic. It's insane. Let's go hop in.
I belong to you.
Take me to your heart.
I belong to you.
All right, I'm gonna call my friend Jeremy. He's a professional stock picker, and he knows a lot more about the Tesla technical analysis than I do. So let's give him a call and see if he's available. Give us some advice about whether or not you should invest in Tesla right now. He has no idea I'm giving him a call right now, so this is totally out of the blue.
Andrei, what's up, man?
What's up, Jeremy? Hey, man, I just wanted to call you and ask some advice about Tesla stock.
Oh boy, oh boy.
I wanted to maybe visit your house and pick your brain a little bit about what you think.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I'm down for that.
We're gonna make a sick video.
Oh, sweet. That's gonna be fun.
I'm excited,
You're
man.
hopping on the Tesla, the train as well, huh? That's
No, I don't think I am, but I want to pick your brain, and maybe you'll convince me.
Oh boy. That might be tough.
Cool, man. I know you know a lot more about Tesla than I do. It's better to ask the expert here.
Oh, dude, I'm looking forward to it. That's gonna be fun.
Yep, bye-bye.
Okay.
It's on like Donkey Kong. So driving a Tesla really is like driving an iPhone. It's so much fun, it's not fair. Like, you cannot drive this car and like not smile. It's amazing. And the torque? We're here. Let's go. We're here.
Hello, my name is Jeremy.
My name is Jeremy.
I need to talk about the Tesla stock today. Talking about it, you know? So you're gonna be in frame, I'm gonna be in frame.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be talking to these people.
That's right.
Okay, definitely weird.
Here we are with Jeremy, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Hello, how do you do, mates?
What's up, man?
Good, I'm so happy to do this today.
All right, so Jeremy, you have a Tesla.
I have a Tesla,
You're planning on getting another one.
Yep, Model X, it's ordered and it should be here within the next 2 weeks.
And
Super
how many
excited.
shares of Tesla do you have? When did you get into it?
So I have right now right around 300 shares of Tesla stock.
Almost more than my entire net worth in my dividend portfolio.
It's definitely a very important position of mine. And so
Yeah.
whatever happens to Tesla long term is definitely gonna be something that affects my net worth over time. But as far as me getting in the stock, you know, very simply, I followed this company since they went IPO.
Right.
And never invested in it. That's back when it was like a $30 stock. Yes, you heard me right. It was like a $30 stock back then.
$30.
Yes.
It was on your radar back then.
It was on my radar. I looked in the company. They didn't have much of a business model at all at that time. It was more like, you know, just like the hope of a business model. This was probably, you know, 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago now, many years ago. And so I was like, that's interesting, but I can't take that type of risk in a stock because the business model wasn't there.
Right.
Model 3.
Changed everything.
Model 3 changed everything. When I saw them show off Model 3, when I saw the pre-order numbers for Model 3, I was like, this is the most transformational vehicle we've seen launched, certainly in our lifetimes, and if not ever.
Right.
And that was what really changed it. And Tesla stock hadn't moved for a while. And so about a year and a half ago or so, I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna start buying these shares. I really, you know, studied up on the company. I understood what was coming for them in future years. And, you know, I bought most of my shares in the 200s and I'm very, very thankful for that.
That's crazy.
And, you know, this is definitely a company that just has a massive opportunity. But for sure, Model 3 was a game changer.
So Jeremy, second question I have for you
Yeah.
is why did this Tesla stock go up so high? Like, what happened? It just went to like $900 something dollars almost in the span of like a week. Like, what happened?
So Wall Street's funny. The Wall Street either way undervalues companies many times or way overvalues.
Sure.
Most of the time, companies do not trade at fair valuations. They're usually either overvalued or undervalued. Now that creates an awesome opportunity if you're a stock market investor and you can identify these opportunities. But with Tesla stock, it went from a story where Wall Street was acting like Tesla was going to go out of business and like they had no faith in the business model and they had no faith in Elon Musk and all these sorts of things. to almost overnight, like within like a 6 to 8 month span, this company all of a sudden, oh, now they're profitable. Oh, and profits are really going to start rolling in over the next 3 to 5 years. And oh my gosh, competition's way back. And so it went from a situation here with the stock where it was like, it was gone and forgotten about by Wall Street. They disrespected it. The big money, the institutional didn't want a part of it, to now they all want a piece of this.
Right.
And when you get those type of opportunities in the stock market, that's where you get, huge moves in the stock market. And I've seen it.
So the fundamentals have basically caught up to reality. Do you know what the Tesla stock price is right now?
Tesla stock price right now is somewhere between $700 and $750. I don't know where exactly it closed at
It's like
today.
a walking encyclopedia. $750. So let me ask you this then. Are the fundamentals reflective of reality right now, or are they frothy and inflated?
So as of right now, it's pricing in some growth for Tesla
Some
stock.
growth. Okay. So there's some reality there.
Some reality there. You know, if you're looking at this in a short-term perspective, you're looking at an overvalued stock. If you're looking at this from 3 years from now, 5 years from now, what type of cash flows this company is going to produce, what type of net income, earnings per share this company is going to likely have, you're looking at a situation where this company actually, even at $700 plus, looks undervalued.
Got it.
If I'm thinking about an average, United States citizen or somebody who lives in Europe or whatnot, going to buy a new vehicle in 5 years from now, I think the majority of people are not going to be like, let me go buy an ICE vehicle. I think if 5 years from now, most people are going to be saying, let me buy an electric vehicle.
I think you're right. I hear a lot of comparisons between Bitcoin and Tesla stock, how Bitcoin was a bubble, now Tesla's a bubble. I completely disagree, because I think Bitcoin is a currency, and currencies get their valuation from what people's perception of them are, not the actual fundamental reality. And Tesla's a real business with a real model where they're selling real products. So it's not a bubble. It's a real company.
And the thing that can change for a company is profitability in a massive way.
So Ron Barron is a billionaire investor who's one of the largest Tesla positions in the world, if not the largest. Apparently he's been right on every Tesla call since the inception of Tesla, pretty much. And he came on CNBC and he predicted that Tesla's market cap would be in the $1 trillion range in 10 years. That means if you invest right now, your money will essentially go anywhere from 6 to 10 times in 10 years. And the stock market overall gets about 10% per year, right?
Correct. Yeah, so you can kind of expect 7 to 8%.
7 to 8%. Your money will double roughly every 10 years. So the fact that your money could potentially go 6 to 10x in 10 years is such an incredible opportunity that it's really enticing to just want to invest.
Correct. And the interesting thing about Ron Barron is he actually doesn't have the most bullish thesis out there. Kathy Wood of ARK Invest.
Okay.
She came out yesterday.
Okay.
And she said she believes that Tesla stock has the possibility within the next 4 years to be $15,000 a share.
What?
Now, that is not my personal opinion on this stock. If you followed me for a while, you know I believe this stock has the opportunity to be a $3,000 stock in 4 to 5 years. When I look at what they should be likely doing, 4 or 5 years from now.
Right.
But she has she kind of has a middle case of $7,000 for the stock.
Okay. Tesla, I feel like, will be the first company to ever have automation in vehicles. We're going to be driving around in completely self-automated vehicles. If anyone's going to do it, Tesla's going to be the first, I feel like.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my experience with the Model 3, this is a vehicle that can do 90 to 95% of the drive time it can do.
How life transforming would that be to just be able to call up a car that picks you up and drives you anywhere, and it's ridiculously cheap?
Yeah.
Like, that would be as massive of a difference that the iPhone was when Steve Jobs first released that. Like, that's 100%. How transformative that would be. And I feel like if anyone's going to do it, Tesla will be the first.
I think so. That's kind of more of a 3 to 7 years out. Autonomous taxi networks. Tesla has a phenomenal opportunity because of what the cars can already do. Like you said, I own a Model 3, and 90-95% of the drive time can be done by the Tesla.
Tesla's business model isn't just selling cars. It's also the battery business.
Correct.
And apparently they're predicting that the battery business could potentially meet, if not exceed.
Yeah, you kind of have these different components of Tesla's business model. You have the straight car selling business, which is what I like to focus on a lot, because that's what's really going to drive the business, no pun intended, for the next, let's say, 3 years. Is the actual, they sell an electric vehicle to somebody.
Right.
Then from there, you have what's called over-the-air updates that can happen with the car, and things that you can buy straight from your smartphone now that can get you an update to your car. So for instance, if I want to add the most advanced autopilot system, I could do that on my phone right now. It would cost me $7,000. I could do it on my phone. It'll be in my car probably within an hour
insane.
or two. That's a part of their business. They have the solar business with solar roofs.
It's like in-app purchases
Yes.
IRL.
Yes, in-app purchases, yes, exactly.
insane.
They have their solar business with solar roofs,
Right.
they're expanding that business, and that's is something that will take off. And then they have the battery business, as you
Right.
spoke about. So they have so many different components of their business that this is not just a story of selling electric vehicles, although that will definitely be, if you're looking at revenues and profits, that will be the thing that drives the business in the next 3 years.
So if you're super excited right now to buy Tesla stock and you're gonna wanna sell your house to just sell your kidneys to buy the Tesla stock, but one of the things I wanna ask you, Jeremy, is to be a contrarian for a sec and tell me, if you could convince yourself to get out of Tesla, what would it take for you to convince yourself that Tesla's no longer worth it?
For me to sell out of my position completely, so all, roughly 300 shares I have, I would need to see Tesla completely lose their advantages they have when it comes to the autopilot system, when it comes to electric vehicles, and I'd really have to start to view Tesla as they're just another auto manufacturer. If I could
Right.
ever get to that place,
Okay.
I would likely sell out of the stock and be like, you know what, whether I made a profit or took a loss, which I should definitely make a very nice profit on this one,
Right.
even if it went down a lot, that would be the thing.
Right.
That would be the thing. Or if the valuation got so insane
Right.
that I'm just like, the valuation doesn't make sense.
Right.
But it would have to go up such a ridiculous amount for me to say, you know what,
Right.
I'm selling all 300 shares.
I thought for sure that by now somebody like Toyota would have come along and made
Yeah.
something like a Model 3.
Yep.
And yet they haven't. And it seems like the longer we go on, those kind of companies, those other competitors are going to be using Tesla's battery resources
Very
to
much a
power
possibility.
their electric vehicles rather than build their own gigafactories, because that is so prohibitively expensive, not to mention the fact that their entire business models for distributing their cars is predicated on dealerships.
100%.
And that is terrible because Tesla sells directly.
Yep.
Whereas the other guys don't, which means, and dealerships, by the way, if you didn't know, make all of their money basically with service
Yeah,
repairs.
much of it. Yep, much of
Almost all of it, which is insane because electric cars don't have that much of maintenance issues. So the fact that electric cars are so much cheaper, we don't need dealerships for that, whereas the other competitors do. And so they have to pivot not only their energy business, but also their distribution, which is so much harder to do than I ever thought.
Yes, you're 100% right on those points, and that's not something a lot of people even realize.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even realize the dealership model is not what dealerships really want.
Right.
In terms of selling electric vehicles, they don't want that.
They don't
wanna
want
sell,
that,
They
yeah.
want to sell ICE vehicles.
That's why you don't see Teslas being sold in Toyota dealerships or any other dealerships.
Correct.
It's
Yep.
crazy because they don't make money off those cars.
Yeah, correct. The biggest problem I kind of saw, other than that, is a lot of these other big auto manufacturers haven't taken seriously investing in electric vehicle research and development until really the past year or two.
Right.
Whereas Tesla's been investing in this heavily for over a decade.
Right.
And these guys are just starting to take this stuff serious.
Right.
So that leaves Tesla with this huge advantage. So in top of the dealership model and all those sorts of things, they have this problem where they just weren't taking this serious enough for a long time.
So not only do they have a competitive advantage, these other guys are so far behind and the barrier of entry is so high for them at this point that it makes more economical sense for them to borrow Tesla's resources than make and build their own. My biggest concern about Tesla really is that you're betting on Elon Musk. And I'm not saying you should bet on Elon, but you should never bet against Elon, I think.
I would say that. That's fair.
100%.
People lost a lot of money betting against that man.
Yeah, don't bet against Elon. I'm not saying you should bet on him, but to bet against him is 100% lose almost all the time, I
Yes.
think. But therein lies the risk and the reward. There was a discussion panel between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. This was like decades ago. And Steve was poking fun at Bill for how bad Microsoft was.
Yeah.
And Bill agreed, and he's like, yeah, that's funny, Steve, but the difference is that you need a Steve Jobs to run Apple. You don't need Bill Gates to run Microsoft. And I thought that was so powerful and so true. Because since Steve Jobs, I don't think Apple has innovated anything like the iPhone, like the iPad, anything that revolutionary since Steve Jobs. He had this incredible ability to create products that we didn't know we needed until we saw it. And we were like, I need this in my life. And I think Elon has that power. And if he steps down, that is the big risk. I think that you're investing with Tesla is you are betting on one man.
I will say, I will interject a bit here. So I believe if you were betting on Tesla, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, I think you were betting much more on Elon Musk.
Okay.
Whereas now they actually have Model 3 already out in the market. Model Y is about to come out. They have Cybertruck ready to go. So I'm not saying the company wouldn't be hurt by Elon Musk going away, but the fact is the company is in a huge position of power, regardless if Elon was there over the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Just having Elon there kind of helps this company over the next 5 to 10 years. But everything's set up perfectly. I mean, absolutely perfectly for a Tesla to have an amazing next 3 to 5 years.
I believe it, yeah.
The product launches are just amazing.
Yeah, I believe it. So the big question is the holy grail that we came here for is, Jeremy, what is the entry price? Do you recommend people to buy it now or average in perhaps? Or wait? What do you think is going to happen at least in the next year or so that we can expect? This is really putting Jeremy on the spot. This is not fair for me to ask him this question.
No, I never tell, even people in my private stock group, I never tell them buy this stock and buy it at this price or sell this stock.
You're just sharing when you do it.
I share what I do, and I try to give guidance around things like that.
Sure.
But I will say, if you're buying Tesla stock, whether it's $200 a share you pay for it or $700 whatever dollars it's at today, I think the main thing you got to say is, do you feel confident in this business model over the next 3 to 5 years? What do you like about this business model? If you feel comfortable with that and you can deal with the fluctuations in price of it going up a bunch or going down a bunch, because Tesla's one of the most volatile stocks in the market.
It is.
If you're going to sell out or you're going to be, feeling super down about yourself, it's not the type of stock for you. This is only the type of stock for people that can buy it, throw it in the filing cabinet, and look at that stock price in 3 to 5 years. Or if you can handle the emotions of keeping track of it every day, then that's great as well. Not everybody can, because not everybody can handle this volatility.
You can't handle the truth.
But if you can, this can be a very, very fun stock long term, as long as our bullish thesis plays out on this one.
Way to avoid the question.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Politician.
Well, let me know in the comments. I live here in Vegas with Jeremy. If you have questions, we can collab again and do some crazy stuff.
I'm here.
Thank you so much, man.
Actually, my pleasure. Absolutely.
Jeremy's awesome. Go subscribe to his channel. It's great.
Thank you. We'd love to have you.